I must say, this episode was terrifying because you really saw the pros get taken out of commission because number 13 had his own quirk used against him and actually had his own quirk take him out. I thought to myself, that is terrifying because Kurogiri actually managed to actually use number 13's quirk against him using a warp gate and actually take him out. I thought to myself, holy freaking Christ, that's terrifying. It says you really just saw the villains take down the pros, and really it's the students having to rise up against the like kind of villains and actually take them down in a way. In a sense, Oshako's character actually managed to actually take charge of that situation and actually use her own quirk against Kurogiri and actually send him up in the air so Ida can actually get out and go notify the school what's going on. And in the end, All Might appears, and when All Might appears, I was like, he's going to go down next week. It's going to get serious in this house, and it's going to get serious because you can see in All Might's eyes, he was pissed. He knows what's going down. He's going to take down those villains, and Tomura's all like, well, we've got to continue. But I was thinking to myself, you've got like one life, mate. You're going to get taken down next week. I thought to myself, it's going to get serious next week, and it's going to get serious fast. But Aizawa's character in this episode really getting to a point where he couldn't carry on, in a sense. He got to a point where he was overwhelmed and actually got taken out. Like, Normal's character for me was the most interesting character this whole entire episode, because we really did see Normal's character. He's a bioengineered, like, anti-symbol of peace. Like, he's anti-symbol of peace. So I thought to myself, that's actually kind of strange in its own right, in the sense he's a bioengineered anti-symbol of peace. And when Deku actually used his quirk and actually tried to smash against Tomura, I'm guessing at that point, Normal actually kind of intercepts that situation, actually kind of absorbs that impact. I thought to myself, this is bad. This is actually freaking damn bad, because if All Might gets there, I'm guessing Normal's the character that actually is their kind of ace up their sleeve. That's the character that actually really kind of pose a threat against All Might, because now he's seeing Deku can't even land a hit on Normal's character, actually do anything to him. We actually understand he's got this kind of absorption kind of quirk. He's got something that really does kind of prove to me that maybe he is the force to be reckoned with. All Might. All might be kind of overwhelmed by him. He's going to be the major character for All Might to get through before he actually gets to Tomura and actually manages to take down Tomura. Because really, Normal's kind of terrifying because he can actually absorb that attack. So I'm not even too sure what All Might can actually do against Normal's character. I don't want to know the prospect because it looks terrifying, and that generally does look kind of terrifying to figure out what could happen next week. But Aizawa getting overwhelmed, and Tomura, I'm telling you, Tomura can be in any situation and not talk. His presence is terrifying, but once he starts speaking, there's a next level kind of terrifyingness to himself. Like, in the sense, when he starts speaking, it puts this unsettling like kind of prospect on that scene. It just kind of makes it realize that someone's gonna get screwed over in this scene, and really you saw Aizawa get screwed over completely, since Aizawa kind of gets to a point where he couldn't carry on because Normal overwhelming him, kind of pinning him down and actually kind of breaking his arm, so he actually couldn't use his quirk in a sense. At one point, Aizawa actually managed to use his quirk against Tomura, actually stopped Tomura actually killing Sue at one point. I thought to myself, if Sue dies at this point, oh freaking Christ, what's gonna happen? So I ain't gonna figure out what could happen. In a sense, when that scene was happening, I was like, if he kills off Sue, holy freaking Christ, I don't want to know what's going to happen with me. In a sense, I would be like an emotional wreck because I don't want to see Best Girl get taken out completely. In a sense, I don't want to see anything happen to her. But he actually managed to use his quirk and actually managed to stop that situation. But he actually was completely overwhelmed. In a sense, Tomura actually kind of realizing that Aizawa really can't be in a situation for very long. He can't be in a long fight. He can't be in a fight with many people because his quirk isn't used for that. In a sense, even Deku kind of realizing, Deku even says that, look, he's overexerting himself. He's putting himself in this situation, taking down all those villains, but when you think about it, he can't do this in time. His quirk isn't used for this. His quirk's used for like tiny fights, maybe surprise attacks, but tiny fights in its own right. He isn't used for over like, I guess, 100 villain kind of fight. He isn't used for this. But I was kind of sitting there going, Tomura actually realizing that point, actually grabbing his arm, actually kind of pinning away his skin as well. I thought, that's generally kind of terrifying. And so I don't really know what Tomura's like kind of quirk, because I don't want to know what he can do, because it's generally terrifying. But seeing Aizawa and seeing number 13 get taken out completely was generally kind of depressing, because you saw these people that were meant to rise up against these villains, take these down, just get overwhelmed. But in a sense, they couldn't do much because there was just two people. There were two heroes. They couldn't do too much. But really, this episode was the students rising up against the challenge and actually kind of going forward and actually kind of fighting against the villains in some way. Because Shelter's character really kind of put in perspective that maybe there's only 5 of them that actually are the force to be reckoned with, because he says that, look, these people are weak. They aren't like too strong, since they're just thugs. They aren't anything. really there's only 5 characters there that really do pose a threat. And it really was true, because you saw Momo's group really take down the villains they were going against. So using Denki's inability to actually control his own quirk to their advantage, because QUIRK actually kind of kicked him into like this crowd of people. So what happens is, once they start like, I guess, laying into them, actually can like knock him into that kind of crowd and actually just kind of have his, a lot of like, let's just say, actually put in so they actually can take out those villains. But in essence, I liked Momo's character when she started creating that like kind of protective sheet, and actually managed to actually allow Denki to actually use his quirk and actually take down all those villains. And actually Denki turns into an idiot for a little while after, which was actually kind of funny in its own right. But I liked it because you generally saw what could have been. They could have been terrified out of their minds, in a sense they kind of were. In a sense, you saw Kurogiri's kind of like where Kurogiri was. That group of like students were really kind of terrified. They didn't know what to do. In a sense, number 13 been taken out. The person that was meant to protect him been taken out. They didn't know what to do, but they didn't actually kind of sit there and say, "Oh, you freaking Christ, we're gonna die." No, they kind of realized the situation and kind of rose up and actually kind of fought against the villains. And I thought to myself, these kids are pretty freaking great, in a sense. Each character has their own, I hate to use the word because I use this constantly, they have their own quirks. That's the I'm gonna get tired of that after a while. But they have their own kind of ideas about them, and they're actually kind of smart. They actually know how to take charge of the situation, and actually kind of take out, in some regards, of villains, and how needed to actually get out to contact the school. And I thought to myself, it's actually kind of neat, because these characters are generally in some regards smart, but Deku kind of realizing that maybe he can't actually take down the main honchos of the villains, because Normal is this character that really is the force to be reckoned with. He's the force to be reckoned with when All Might gets it. All Might is there now. All Might is in that situation, but I don't want to know the prospect of what could happen with his character. I don't want to know if or not he can actually beat Normal and Tomura. I just don't want to know, because it looks like Normal is going to be that character to be forced to be reckoned with. He's going to be that one that actually might just be able to take down All Might. He might just be as strong as All Might, or more stronger. We just don't know. It's generally kind of terrifying. But one note to actually add is Mineta's character. Mineta's character, in any terrified situation, he grabbed hold of Sue's boobs. I thought to myself, he knows his priorities. Like when people's going down, he grabbed her boobs. I was like, Mineta, you know your priorities. Anything could be going down. Boob can go down completely, but he knows his priorities. He just knows what to do. It's fracking great. I kind of, in some regards, like his character. In other times, I'm kind of like, were you there, mate? But in other times, he actually manages to actually juxtapose some kind of heavy drama with some comedy. I thought that was actually kind of neat. So it's actually neat him being there. So overall, what can I say about this episode? Freaking great, terrifying overall, because you saw the kind of pros get taken down to a point where they're out of commission, so you just don't know what's going to happen next. You really just don't know, because you don't want to know whether All Might can take down these like villains and actually manage to actually save the day. You just don't know what's going to happen, in the sense, I guess in some regards, they were prepared, in a sense. They didn't really kind of bank on the fact Ida was going to get out and actually going to notify some more teachers, because Kurogiri is at that point saying, well, Christ, he's going to notify some more teachers, and this wasn't the plan. The plan was wait for All Might to get here and take down All Might. And then when Tomura actually says, if you were actually a physical being, I would have smashed you by now. The whole scene was scratching his neck. It was terrifying. Like, in a sense, his presence, when he speaks, his mannerisms are just terrifying. It's not a nice prospect of him being there. I just don't like it, because he's a terrifying lad. But yes. So, with all that said, I've been the driver. If you ever like, do leave a like, it does help me quite a bit. If you enjoy my content as a whole, do leave a sub, it's helped me quite a bit. But with all that said, I have been a driver, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.